Alright, midnight release, Warhammer 40k Dark Imperium with Cody. Yay!
The new 8th edition set.
8th edition set. Unboxing.
Let's get this plastic off of here. And as always, high quality box art.
Yeah, and this is a pretty heavy box. I was actually really surprised. Tried to grab it one-handed and had to catch it with my other one.
Alright, well that's probably because they include a hardback rulebook.
Yeah.
Alright, so first off, this already tells me it's different. It looks like it's in a sleeve. It comes off. Well, for all you thrifty gamers out there that love wall art, handy with a pair of scissors. You cut that out right there. Put that right up on your wall. Look beautiful. It's good to keep box art around because on the back of the box, it includes some details, actual size, miniatures there. So you can keep the box art around. So if you've never painted Nurgle miniatures before or Ultramarines, this gives you a good idea what to do. Okay. This is also one of the first box sets that they're actually including a Chaos faction that is Death Guard. It's the first time, I think, in the whole of the game we've actually seen Death Guard in a box set. So let's go ahead and set this off to the side. And look at that. Remember what I was saying about box art, folks.
That is lovely. That is very nice.
Yes. As you can see, for the cleverly discerning gamer, you have helmet divided straight down the middle. Nurgle.
Got a bit of a glare with the thing. There we go.
You got Nurgle and Primaris, Marines, Ultramarines, whomever. And I tell you why that is. That's probably because if we open up the box here... Oh, we're going to have to crack the seal first. Let's go ahead and crack the Imperial seal.
Once it's done, it cannot be undone. And there went collectability. Yay!
No longer mint, folks. No longer mint. Alright, so we open it up and we are greeted with...
Tons of gray sprue.
Tons of gray sprue, or plastic crack, as it's known in the hobby. Let's see, we've got some... these are... Looks like a mixture of actual Death Guard Marines and what looks to be these new Poxwalkers that people have been talking about online.
These are... I'm all up into Cody's face right now trying to get this detail, but I like these. These are...
beautiful, if such a thing could be applied to Nurgle minis, but...
This may actually get me back into 40k, or I'll be using Cody's.
Yeah, that's perfectly true, too. I'm looking forward to painting them, I know that much. Because I...
see the front side.
Front side.
Oh yeah, these are the new hotness. Definitely sexy.
And for those of you wondering, when you watch this, of course, if you weren't able to spring for the starter set, I think the... Poxwalkers, I think all the stuff that you see in here is actually going to be released in kits over the successive months. So you may not have to get the whole box, or you could just go talk to your buddy who bought the box and ask him what army he doesn't play with and buy that off of him relatively cheap. Because I'm telling you right now, these kits almost remind me of the snap together figures they put in the Dark Vengeance box set. The ones with the, Blood Pack cultists and the all the Khorne guys that came out. I think it was before the release of the Wrath of Magnus stuff. What is this here? Ooh, new stuff.
Hold it 1 second. Let me pause it real quick. Alright, so we're back.
Okay, and so one of the things that I was just absolutely taken by when I first saw the images are these blight drones. They're going to be really fun to paint because they have lots of different types of texturing to them. You have corrosion, you have flesh, bone, and all sorts of stuff. I mean, they've really outdone themselves on this whole thing. And this is one cool thing I wanted to show you. There actually seems to be going back to like second and even first edition weapon designs for a lot of the Chaos troops now, which would make sense because technically they're still using equipment from the Heresy era. So lots of interesting detail on these guys here.
Now, what is this one here?
This is one of your just a Plague Marine. That's what that is. That's just a Plague Marine.
Really big Plague Marine. What's that? That's one figure.
Little bulkier, but that's to be expected with these snap together guys. And I think these Death Guard, just standard Plague Marines, are going to be about the same size all the way around as the already pre-existing stuff. I haven't put it together yet. So we're really not going to see a really good solid size comparison until we have something assembled. And that's going to take me a little bit because I tend to like to put all my stuff together and then go messing about with it. I was wondering why we didn't hear any rattling around. It looks like they included some pockets of Imperial air. So if you're stuck on the Martian homeworld, you get to take home with you. I do believe, honestly, that this is also the same material they make Imperial Guard flak vests out of.
Probably.
Good as absorbing glass and deflecting it, but not much else. So, you know. And then
what other goodies we got in there? Now, is this just the Chaos portion of it?
No, this is Chaos right here, and then over here is the Primaris guys.
All right, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Okay. So these Primaris Marines are supposedly taller or bigger all the way around than your standard Marines, and I would certainly say that they are.
Remember, we've got a base on that one. That's my guy. I seen him years ago. Yeah, he's definitely bulkier.
Bulkier and taller.
Much taller.
Also, if you want an example of where they're going with this, you can look and see that this is not a bolt gun. This is now a bolt rifle. With Primaris, they're called bolt rifles. And you're looking at, I mean, they have pulse rifle range, folks. So the Imperial bolt gun is once again awesome.
This is a...
This, I don't have the codex in front of me for the Primaris Marines, but this is actually a new weapon. I think it's going to be something similar to like a Stormbolter. Like the Stormbolter has been in past editions, but these are for your jump troops. Your, I believe they're called Interceptors or Intercessors. I'd have to look. But the one thing I thought was really cool is they have some of this... Overall, it seems like they're going with a much more futuristic look. Because Warhammer 40k, you know, we've always liked that dark gothic look to it all. But it seems like they're going with a little more futuristic look. More curves. I'm definitely seeing a lot more curves. And here's a fine example of that. This almost looks like it belongs on a Crisis suit. Or even something Eldar. It doesn't look like it belongs to the Imperium, but yet here it is. So maybe Gilliman knows something that... we don't, which is probably a good thing. People should probably listen to him. We got another kit here. It's the same as this one. Just some jump packs, some Hellblaster. I think that's what they're called, Hellblaster plasma guns now. Which I haven't seen the stats for those. I think they have their own stat line. I don't think it's just like a standard plasma gun. But you get a whole squad of them, which should just roundabout piss everyone off on the tabletop. Oh, and no more overheating unless you supercharge now. You can fire your plasma gun all day long, roll ones all day long, but until you supercharge it, there's really no penalty for doing so. Now, I believe this is the command sprue, if I'm to believe correctly. I'm seeing some parts on here that aren't standard. I'm also seeing some that are... You get a bunch of very dynamic poses, and here's probably one of my favorite parts here is look at this banner. The detail on that is
much better than what we've seen previously.
Oh, very much so. I mean, absolutely amazing. And the cool thing about this is, in the past, when you've popped open a box of Space Marines of any stripe, if it was just standard Space Marines, when you took their equipment off, their banners off, it was very much Ultramarines. They were pushing that real heavy. We all know that they've been doing it. Well, this one here may look like it, but the simple fact is this could go well for Blood Angels, this could go for Space Wolves, this could go for Black Templar. Doesn't matter who. Standard Imperial design, but it's not overtly Romanesque as we've seen with a lot of the Ultramarine stuff. So
backpacks are definitely different.
Oh,
See
yes.
that one there.
Oh, yes. Here, I mean...
And it does have a Tau aesthetic to it. It really does.
It does. It's very rounded. Very, like, futuristic kind of the same type of stuff you'd see in, like, 50s, 1950s sci-fi comic books and things like that. Everything's rounded. For my Fallout fans out there, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You know, you got Mr. Fisto, the robot, he's all rounded out. It's just an example of that. All right, so those are the actual models. Those are the kits, and I gotta say I'm pretty impressed with that. And I do think that the cover of this box is going to end up on my wall.
Oh, let me look at that side art right there. Go behind Cody. You see, you've got. This is from the primary box. Can't get all of it in the picture, but there's that drone. Kind of interesting.
Yeah, one of my friends was telling me if I wanted to try and paint this up, I have to think of a lobster with fans on it.
Looks about right.
Yeah, it looks about right. You know, crusty crustacean. But that is beautiful. I like the box that came in. I definitely like the box that came in. Now, some people have been saying online that the reason they did the box art like this is they put Nurgle on one side and Primaris on one side, so when you open the box, you kind of knew what side it was on.
Apparently, that's not the case.
It is not the case because I've seen 5 or 6 different videos where they're flip-flopped and they're all mixed in. I've seen them.
Just like yours.
Mm-hmm. So, let's go ahead and put that off to the side. Oh, look, they included an X-Acto knife. No, I'm kidding. This belongs to my buddy Jason. All right, so what do we got here? Well, let's see. We've got some nice little pockets with even more artwork on them, but you're not going to be able to get to them until you pull out your hard cover rule book. I'm going to be very careful with this. All right, plastic wrapped as always, and oh, that smell.
New image on the back, finally.
So there we go. So this one's basically picking up where a lot of the Storm of Chaos, this whole new campaign they've been doing is left off. And it just goes in to tell you, once again, everything's bad and you're probably going to get eaten by Tyranids. That's pretty much where they're going with that. But I will tell you something about this book, folks, and that is that 8th edition really streamlined everything, and I know you're looking at it thinking, Jesus, that's a lot. However, if you go...
And for legal purposes, I'm not going to show a lot of the text.
Right, we're not going to give you a blow-by-blow. Basically, everything from this front here to about right... That is fluff. These are the rules. And as always, they lie because I've never seen anyone smile that much when playing Imperial Fist. So
no, nobody smiles.
No. Especially when someone decides to bring 2 Land Raiders and you're boxed in. Yeah, not at all. But it just goes on, tells you a little bit about narrative play, Battle Forged Armies, which is, I think, a new thing. I didn't play much of 7th edition, so I can't tell you if Battle Forged was then or not. Match play. Now, you have narrative play, which is campaign stories, that kind of stuff. Match play is more of you're trying to actually play a matched army, which introduces their new PowerPoint system. A lot of you folks out there that know about Age of Sigmar, that sounds very familiar, and it should, because it very much is. What they do is they give each and every individual unit in the game a power level assignment, if you will, and it's not so much points as power now. So you agree we're going to pay a 50 PowerPoint matchup. You know, if you have lower PowerPoint stuff, you're going to have more of your models on the field than your opponent who might not. So they did away with the to hit charts and the to wound charts, and now it's everything's done already says on, you know, so it's real quick, real fast. And from some of the games I've seen online with this already, that definitely gives you that. People are finishing games in 2 hours. It used to take 4, 5, 6 hours.
6 hours.
Yeah.
An all-day event.
So a lot of different rules here. They do...
That diagram's a lot better than previous editions.
Yeah, now you actually have a good physical diagram where you can go, okay, blah, blah, blah. One of the cool things is here they actually show you the units that are inside of this starter set to get started with. Because if you can play with these guys, you can play with all the other ones. I also went ahead and paid for 2 indexes.
It's late, guys. It's literally midnight.
Yeah. So this just goes into more, gives you some of the... We're not going to show you any of the new mission types. Just take my word for it. They are awesome. I have seen people do a little bit of research on them online. I've seen people do videos about them, and I'm telling you, from what I'm looking at here, this game is... they've listened to everything we've had to say and complain about the game, and they fixed it with 8th. It would seem so. There are people out there that are still upset with the fact that there are these guys running around, but that's just mainly because they're worried about the lore aspect of it. So I'm going to go ahead and open these up so we can get a better look at them and not so much of a glare.
And you do get decals, water slide decals, as you can see.
Tons of them.
For the various armies, Space Wolves, Dark Angels, Ultramarines. Yeah. Very nice to have.
Now, I never use water slide decals personally. I paint all my stuff on. But, it's good that they have them there because I think they didn't just include these for the Space Marines. I think there's another sheet in here too. I could be wrong. We'll take a look here in a minute. Here's one of the best things about this. They give you a fold-out that has your cool rules and every phase listed and exactly how it should go down. Quick reference fold-out. Flip it around. 4 and 5 are right there on the back. It tells you exactly how attacks are supposed to work, how transports work, the stuff that used to trip people up in between phases. They've got it on here. They've even got the to wound roll on there, so you know what you're doing. Okay, that's pretty nice to have because that's something you can just set over by the table, and you ain't got to worry about taking out the rule book unless it's the check specialist rules, in which case you should refer to your codex first. Everybody knows that. So, we have a Primaris Marines mini codex, it looks like. And let's just see what we got here.
Again, I'm not trying to show everything, so that way GW doesn't get on my ass about it.
So they have what looks to be... Oh, goodness. They have some new founding Space Marine chapters. Storm Reapers, Blades of Vengeance, Fulminators. Let's see here. What else we got here? So, of course, you've got your White Scars, your Raven Guard, your Salamanders. And that looks like you have... Oh, okay, hold on. Brazen Claws, Iron Lords, Death Specters, Blackguard. Looks like you may possibly have some new founding chapters in there. But of course, it's got your color schemes and your how to color them to denote who they are, type of a thing going on with these guys. So sorry, correction from earlier. I said they were Hellblaster plasma guns. They're actually called plasma incinerators. Which I'm kind of curious as to what the difference is between that and a plasma gun, and I'm gonna take a look. And those are called assault bolters, which we'll go over those here in just a moment, because I'm pretty sure we can show you that without any risk of repercussions. So it's called a Hellblaster Squad, but it's an incinerator, a plasma incinerator. And then you have your Inceptor Squads, which are your jump troops, pretty much. You got your lieutenants, your intercessor squads, which is your basic tactical space marine squad, just about, but for Primaris Marines. Tons of information in this book. So let's take a look here. Okay. So you have something called a Boltstorm Gauntlet, which looks like it is a 3-shot pistol. 12-inch range, you get 3 shots with a pistol. Now, the reason they denotate pistol is in this version of the game, you can actually fire your pistols in close combat instead of making a melee attack. Oh, that's nice. So the bolt rifles for the Primaris Lieutenants are now Assault 2 instead of Rapid 1. But over here, 30-inch range Rapid 1 for the bolt rifle on the Primaris Ancient, which is a good way of saying that old bastard over there with the banner. And the Intercessor squads, all armed with bolt rifles, 30-inch range. Rapid fire 1. That means, folks, that you get 1 shot at 30 inches or 2 shots at 15 inches, which is amazing. Because then you're getting, your AP now doesn't have a value. It's not AP 5 or AP 4 or any of that. It's AP minus 1 to the roll for your armor save. So if you normally have a 4-up armor save, you have to make a 5-up armor save. Let's see. Hellblaster. The Plasma Incinerator looks like it is a 30-inch rapid-firing plasma gun with a minus 4 to AP. So what that means is if you have an armor save of 2+, so if you normally have a 2+ armor save like your Terminator armor, that means you have to roll a 6 or your ass is grass. That's what that means. Now this does not state... Okay, so this gives you a little bit of what to know about the Plasma Incinerator. Each time a model fires a Plasma Incinerator, pardon me, it can supercharge a weapon before firing. Also to note is there will be other plasma-based weaponry in the indexes that will have a stat line separate for supercharge. So it looks like you're going to be able to supercharge almost all plasma in the game now.
Makes sense.
For the Imperium. You won't be able to do it with Tau. So, you guys get enough stuff as it is anyway with the damn battle suits flying around. If it does so if you do supercharge it, you get to increase the strength and damage of the weapon by 1. So it goes up to strength 8, and it is damage 1, I believe. So it'd be 2 damage. So what damage means is when you shoot a target and they don't save, that damage is applied to that model. If it's a 2-wound model and it does 2 damage, it's dead. If it's 1-wound model, it takes a hit off of a 2 wound thing, like a 2 damage, then that model is dead, but damage does not splash over. That's one thing that they've discussed here recently. Unless it's mortal wounds, they don't splash over to other models. So if you're shooting at something that's got 2 wounds and you cause 4, it kills it. You don't get any additional going anywhere else. And then, of course, in your back, you have your points appendix, which tells you your points. But one thing about that is, yeah, you got your points there. It tells you in the back, but right up here, you got your power levels. Exactly what I was talking about. And they made this really easy now because now you have your fast attack or your tactical, your troop, your elites, heavy support options are clearly denoted by the title of each thing in the new 8th edition indexes. And then they'll probably do the same thing when they release all the new codexes they're going to release, that they say they're going to release. That's the important part. That's the Primary Space Marine book. Now we have my ex-wife. Sorry.
Hey, yours too, huh?
Yeah. We have the Death Guard, which just opening this book, it's already a lovely shade of green. So let's take a look here. The Death Guard, obviously, you have some fluff in the front. You have Blightbringers, Lords of Contagion, your Plague Casters. Everybody's favorite, you got your Plague Marines. You got your Bloat Drones, which we've already seen those, and then you've got your Poxwalkers, which are basically people who've been possessed or infected with Nurgle's Rot that just will not die. They're your sick call rangers right there. So in here, it's kind of got a rundown of what you're going to see in the army. It's got your icons of Nurgle. Okay, so you've got your different chapters, I guess, or your different companies within the Death Guard. All these different color schemes, which everybody mostly thinks, Death Guard's just green and white, or just make them look gross. But here you are, right here. Now I know there are people debating right now whether or not they teased on a release of a Mortarion character. We'll just have to wait and see. But if that is, I certainly would think so, with them releasing a Death Guard in a starter box. The last time they did a starter box, they released Gilliman with a Triumvirate, so that's pretty good, I guess. In here, you've got your Contagion Discipline for your psychic powers. So far as I can tell, psychic powers are generated kind of the same way as they were in 7th edition, from what I can tell. I could be wrong. You'll just have to take time to see. Then, of course, you just go through here. It's got all the same stuff. Unit names, power level, cost. I'm looking at you, Vegeta. Disgustingly Resilient is something that is very particular to these guys. And what it does is it allows you to, on a 6, I believe, ignore a mortal wound. So even if it bypasses your armor, you still get your Disgusting Resilient save, which is kind of nice. And of course, in the back, you got your Blight Grenade, Bolt Pistol, Bolt Gun, Crack Grenade, all this kind of stuff here. I think Plague Spitters are actually going to be used in place of Flamers when it comes to a Nurgle army, so I'm pretty sure they'll operate much the same way because they have separate listings for Plasma Guns, which is cool. Alright, so those are the 2 mini codexes. And what we have right here is is
this the assembly guide?
How to build and a painting guide. Okay. Which, if you really need to know how to paint these miniatures, just watch Warhammer TV. Dustin Rhodes does an excellent job with the Lord of Contagion. I was watching some of him earlier today and went and picked up the paints, and I hope to emulate his paint job on there. hopefully as well as he does. If not, then I can always just blame on he wasn't given good enough instruction.
So I guess there's your bases.
Whole bunch of bases. And this is the cool thing I want you folks to see real quick, too, is they have some small bases in here. Very small bases. Everything's not 32 millimeter bases in here. So, not that that's a big thing, but I know a lot of you folks were worried about having to rebase your armies with these size right here, which were the standard in 7th edition. Not the case anymore. No one gives a damn what size base they're on. Just don't take your commander model and stick him in the middle of a monstrous creature base. That's a dick move. That'll get you shut out of a game real quick. Don't do it.
But is it legal?
No, it is not. Because we all know what you're trying to do.
And a ruler.
Yes.
And it's a nice clear ruler.
Yes, it is. Wonderful for pre-measuring. You check for movement and go, yeah, I got movement. I'm also within rapid fire range. Good stuff.
Kind of hard to pick up on the camera, but yeah, it is. It's
really
transparent, so you can't see the field below. Easy to put over a character, so that way you can put it right atop of him, and there's no question as to where the center of that model is or the edge of the base.
Correct, and we have some
cheap clear dice.
Yes.
Get those at the corner store.
Yes. bones, you know. One thing to mention too, I don't know if I said it when we were going over this. There are no more templates in this game.
No, you haven't mentioned it, but that was a big thing. Oh wait, we got more.
Yes, we have some flight stands
and some very large bases.
Yes,
one very large base. That I would assume is for the drone.
This is for the blight drone, I would believe, and these are for the intercessor, whatever they're called. The guys with the jump packs.
Incest guys.
Yeah, those ones. Them folks from
Virginia.
Yeah.
Down at the holler.
Now here's the cool thing here too. This comes out. I mean, I know there's going to be a lot of folks that just throw this stuff out, but I honestly,
it's a GM screen. That's what that is.
It is absolutely beautiful. And if you really wanted to, you could probably snip this thing off and put it around a door, hang it up. I mean, there's tons of things you can do with it. It looks really nice. I will say this is probably the highest quality box I've ever opened.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Ever. So
better than Blackreach, I can tell you that.
Yeah, Blackreach. Here's a flimsy box, and let's hope all your miniatures are in there like they're supposed to.
That way. Yep.
So let's go there.
So since this is run kind of long, overall, yes, no, you dig it?
I would certainly say that not only do I dig it, I'm looking very much forward to getting the models together and starting a game, because 8th edition looks like it's going to. It looks like it's going to bring Warhammer 40k back to the players. So that's always an important thing.
It's got me interested, and I've been holding off on 40k since Blackreach.
Oh yeah.
So disappointed with what was there. So yeah, that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment, leave a like. Did we get something wrong? Probably, but it's late and we haven't really read all the rules yet. So we'll see. Take it easy.